We need CVs for this, don't we?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Alright, content warning. This video contains mentions of suicide, depression, and murder. Well, and death in general. However, we will not discuss these topics in depth, not like we did with 13 Reasons Why. They're there though. They'll be mentioned.
You were warned.
Welcome to another episode of Tea and Toffees, a kind of weekly VTuber podcast. Hello, I'm Neitshayd, your local undead demon.
And hello, I'm Cecilia. I was a witch in my previous life.
You know, my wrist is still hurting, and I can't edit videos like this.
Oh no.
It's been hurting for a week now, and stretching and using it as little as possible just doesn't help. And compiling our notes definitely did not help at all.
Oh.
And then once we finish recording, I'll have 4 episodes that need to be edited. But damn it.
Oh no. If I could, I would help you with the editing, but you know the software, and I don't. So sorry.
Yeah, I'd probably still be faster even with my wrist like that.
Yeah, probably. I can see that.
Ignoring my wrist, let's play a game of billiards.
Sure.
Is this our first anime? Like, proper anime? Because Pokemon doesn't count. Pokemon doesn't have an anime. Nope.
Yeah, since Pokemon doesn't have an anime, I think this is our first proper anime. Yes. But it certainly won't be the last.
This is an anime original.
Ooh.
So we have the OVA, Death Billiards, and then 1 season of the TV series, Death Parade. Death Billiards came out in early 2013 as part of the Young Animator Training Project. The original Little Witch Academia OVA came out the same year under the same project, by the way. And the TV series Death Parade came out 2 years later in 2015, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
I've divided this into little arcs. So we're technically going episode by episode, but just some episodes are bunched together because they belong together.
Yeah.
First, Death Billiards and Jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Technically, the OVA is a bit of a spoiler for the series, but it was released first. I mean, they also changed some designs and stuff and a little bit of world building, but if you don't pay attention, you won't notice. I think it's best to watch the OVA as a standalone or in between episodes of the TV series. Like, definitely after episode 2, but before episode 8. Because episode 8 is so dramatic that it's just, if you watch Death Billiards after that, it won't pay off, but...
Well, back in the day, I watched Death Billiard first because I think you actually told me to watch that first and then the TV series. And
I personally prefer it that way, but if you go into it wanting to analyze the entire thing, then it doesn't work. But the OVA works best as a standalone. So like as a short film, it works best. But if you want to watch the series, then you should put it somewhere in between. Don't remember in which episode they changed the roulette. Anyway, we'll get to that. So, An old man walks into a bar. Sounds a bit like a joke.
And all I can focus on is the water at the side of the sidewalk, or of the walkway. It's like, ooh, pretty water.
Yes, it's a very fancy bar with very pretty water plays.
Yes, you have this crystal clear water and bamboo, and it just looks lovely, you know? And the bathroom is beautiful as well. Like, wait, do you even need to use the bathroom when you're dead? Do the mannequins have the equipment for that?
Well, as we see later in the TV series, apparently they can drink alcohol and they do need to use the bathroom. How do bodies work here? Like, eating and drinking is apparently possible. The fangirl from episode 5 or 6 or whatever, she had to pee and people can bleed. But none of these people are alive, so How does that work?
I'm just getting confused by this. I have no clue how this works. No, I don't have a clue at all.
I think I'll mention this a few times. The word building is a bit wonky. It's not quite. There are a few issues. Anyway, so this bar is called Quindeki. More on that later. We have a bartender and a barmaid, and we will not learn their names in this short film, nor the names of our 2 players. 2 men. An old one and a young one. They're both smokers, and they don't know what is going on. Anyone else we see in the OVA is a puppet. Later turns out the players are also puppets. Everyone's a puppet. But yeah.
Yeah, everyone is a puppet. Right. I was about to say first episode, but we are talking about the OVA. Whoops. We see alcohol, cigarettes, and implied sexual content. Like, this show is definitely intended for a mature audience. I suppose the name Death Parade and Death Billiard already implies that, having death in the name.
With anime, you never know. That's... sometimes you have like the cutest sounding names and the Madoka Magica. It's like, sounds cute, premise sounds cute, super up.
Oh yeah, very.
And then, yeah. It's, and other times you have like names that just sound ominous but aren't. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, Death Parade is even more adult, I would say, than Death Billiards, considering, well, certain episodes.
Yeah, we will get into that later.
Yes, first question we ask our 2 guests in the bar. Do you remember how you got here? Nope, they don't. They remember up until right before they died, although we don't know they died at this point. And we also learn later that even their memories up until that point aren't quite complete either. This is very important, otherwise they wouldn't play the game earnestly. I think they don't use the word arbiter yet, so we'll get a little bit into that at a later point, episode 1. But we got the rules. Shall I announce them and you read them, Cecilia?
Sure.
First, he dots.
He cannot tell them where this place is.
Who dots?
The 2 men will play the game.
Mitts.
The game is decided by a roulette.
Funny, that rule is actually broken by the bartender himself. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yachts.
The men will risk their lives in this game.
Itsutsu.
They won't be allowed to leave until the game is over.
Muts.
Lastly, they have 1 hour to decide to play.
I hope I pronounced that stuff correctly. Japanese. So we got... Is that 7 rules we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... No, 6. 6 rules. 6 rules for this one.
Well, funny that it's 6 rules because barmaid only ever counts to 3, you know? But
no, she actually does. I looked it up, or I re-looked. I went back to it. She does for the OVA. She announces all 6 of them.
Oh,
yeah. But the subtitles don't translate the 6th one as 6, but as lastly. But she says Muts, and that's number 6.
Oh, I only remember her going up to the number 3. Anyways.
It might have been from the TV series, maybe?
Yeah, most likely the TV series. It probably only went up to the 3, but I just loved the way she did this count, like the voice acting, such enthusiasm. It was nice.
Yes. So we have the roulette with the picture book girl Chavut. That will play a bigger role in the TV series, but for the OVA it's not relevant. And we have the marionettes that look like hanging corpses, and we have the entire setup screaming play or die, or, well, win or die. Which will also be discussed later, because Cecilia and I have apparently very different opinions in this.
So we do. And I really can't blame them for thinking that the mannequins are corpses. They kind of do look like that, you know?
Yeah, definitely on purpose.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So, as the name for the OVA implies, we play a game of pool/billiards. I have played that game before, several times. Do you remember that human family I lived with for some time? They have their own pool table.
Ooh.
And, well, there's been so much clutter on it that you can't really play. It's been very cluttered for years, which is a bit sad. But there was a time when we were able to play on it, and that was fun.
Now, I have played billiard or pool or whatever once before, I think. But I don't really remember much of it. And the young man says billiard and the subtitles say pool. So is there a difference in language? Is there a difference at all? What is the difference?
Yes. Well, first of all, I forgot to correct our notes. In English, it's billiards. The game is billiards with an S. Very important. It's I know in other languages it's different. So in English, pool and billiards do refer to different games, kind of, sometimes. The terminology is a bit confusing here because depending on the language and region and such, yeah. So billiards can and does refer to cue games in general, like the overall genre of this type of game, but it can also refer to just a very specific type of cue game. That depends on where you live, really. Even in English, it's not the same. Like British English and American English use the word differently. On the other hand, pool only refers to a specific cue game. And it's the one we see in this episode, and it's the one I played, and I think that one's just the most well-known.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, so what you think of as billiards is probably pool.
Probably.
And like pool can fall under the category billiards, but yeah, it depends where you are. Whether billiards is like the word for all of them or just for that one specific type of game. It's complicated. So we got body parts displayed on. Are they actually called balls? Maybe I should have looked it up. Anyway, on the thingies you play with. They are in sync with their real organs. And apparently, maybe also pain. But anyway.
Anyways, yes. Did you see the floating jellyfish in the tank? They are beautiful as well. As is everything in this anime. Beautiful.
And there are jellyfish everywhere. Even the chandeliers look like jellyfish. So, time to rip out some research. Jellyfish symbolism is actually quite hard to pin down, and it's equally as hard to find reliable sources on it. I've read that jellyfish can stand for transformation, adaptability, resilience, also sensitivity, intuition, creativity, also the cycle of life and death, and they are associated sometimes with the moon and immortality, and yeah. Several sources, but like, they are not, none of my sources were reliable, so no clue whether that's true. Some of them said that in Celtic mythology, jellyfish are a symbol of the soul's journey through life. Like, they flow with the tides of change and adapt to new situations, also associated with healing and generation. Which, yeah, this fits a bit with what we see. And then I read somewhere that in Japan, they are regarded as guardians of the dead, guiding the dead to the afterlife. But, like, I haven't verified that, so. What I did find, though, from more reliable sources, is that there's this Japanese kami called Ebisu, who's associated with jellyfish, and he is the god of fishermen and one of the 7 gods of fortune.
You know what I learned recently? That we have more and more jellyfish in our oceans because the population on fish is reduced, for example, by coral reefs just dying due to very slight changes in temperature, and that maybe in the future we will have oceans full of jellyfish.
Huh. I don't mind.
But then we can't eat sushi
I suppose
anymore,
people will...
other than sushi made out of jellyfish.
Not sure whether that would taste good.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of the symbolism could potentially be very fitting for this anime, like guiding the dead to the afterlife and stuff. But I have no verification for this, so no clue whether that's true. Yeah. Anyway, so we got the arrogant youth, who wants to apologize to his girlfriend, and the grandpa, who remains completely calm, even when his ear, guts, lungs are collected.
Yeah, my sympathy goes out to all old people here. Even though it's not the fact that he's old that has him not showing anything when the balls that are like his color are, what is the right word for this? Pocketed?
Pocketed. But also, it's, yeah. We assume it's initially when it's when they switch, and that pocketing the balls or whatever they're called affects them physically, or so we think, and then we're like, the old man is really calm despite this.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the blue, the young man, the guts are collected, and then he starts holding his belly and the eyes, and his vision goes blurry, and then more, and at the end it's only the heart and brain left. But yeah, we later learn that it's not quite true. Anyway, yeah, I said that youth wants to apologize to his girlfriend. The grandpa just wants to eat. He wants to eat his wife's pickles before he dies.
And jokes on the old man. He did eat his wife's pickles right before he died.
We also meet his wife in episode 10 of the TV series.
Yeah, which means she's also dead.
Well, she dies later.
Yeah, but still.
So we actually only get the young man's inner thoughts. We never really learn what the grandpa is thinking.
No.
He wonders why only he is affected, not the grandpa. So he's like, yeah, that's weird, but let me still specifically go for the heart, in hopes to gain an advantage by giving the old man a heart attack. And well, then he turns quite desperate.
Yeah, these death games bring out the worst in you. They are intended to do exactly that.
Although they never said that you die when you lose. They only say, please play with your life on the line.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you will die if you lose.
Yes, and the game never lies. Their lives are on the line, just not in the way they think they are.
The old man is also quite ruthless.
Oh, yeah.
And then we see the youth's life flashes before his eyes, and he charges blindly at the old man, and they fight, and the old man is surprisingly nimble. And then the old man's life also flashes before his eyes.
The old man should be at a disadvantage in the fight against the youngster, but really just because of his age. But this shows us that because he isn't at a disadvantage, it shows us that the mental state you're in also really can impact your fighting abilities. Because I think if he wasn't that emotional, the younger man would have done more damage, so to speak.
Or perhaps the old man just has more experience in sword fighting, being old and all that.
Maybe.
Lots of experience.
Maybe.
Also, not the poor jellyfish!
No!
The poor jellyfish!
No, the jellyfish! They're so beautiful.
Poor jelly. Well, they're probably not alive, considering where we are.
But still.
Yeah. Anyway, despite being kind of at a disadvantage, the youth does still win the fight, which results in killing the old man, but he does immediately regret it and breaks down crying.
Yeah, it shows that he still has some morals left.
Empathy, you mean? Feelings of remorse.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, so using violence is not forbidden. The game is only over once one person pockets the 8th ball. Right, so yeah, it doesn't matter whether there's only one player left. And the youth says to himself, anyone would act like that in this situation. It's not my fault.
Yeah, he tries to make himself feel better by telling himself he acted like everyone would have acted in that situation. And he kind of tries to protect his own mind, his sanity.
And then the old man gets up again, and the old man remembers that he's already dead, and thanks to youth for playing with him. And then the young man remembers that, you got stabbed. That's why you were affected, darling, and the old man was not. It was nicely misleading.
Oh.
especially like if you watch episode 1 of the anime first and episode 2, which they go hand in hand, then you would assume going into this episode that is what it's happening, that yeah, if you pocket a ball it affects them, but no.
Nope.
So yeah, we get the explanation that if you die at the same time, you get that's when you arrive at this bar, and then you're sent to either heaven or hell, they say. So despite being dead, the young man is still desperate. He's like, this is unfair. And I mean, the bartender tells him, like, yeah, the game and the old man's winning were predetermined, but things have changed. Still, what does he say? Equality does not exist in society because life's unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he breaks down crying, the young man, and we get a hug. The poor young man gets a hug.
A hug. Yeah, hugs are always good. And the old man probably told Dickim to send him to hell instead of the young man, right? That will definitely land him in reincarnation, if he asks for that. And he probably plans on that specifically, and that's why he smiled so wickedly in the end. But in death, everyone's equal, my dear.
I don't think so.
No?
Like, I don't think that's what he told Dickim. Sorry, the bartender. We don't know his name.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Also, going by the masks above the elevators and what the TV show tells us, the young man went to heaven and the old man to hell. But yeah, he smirks evilly for some unknown reason. And also, but at the same time, considering the conversation we then get between the bartender and the barmaid at the end, the masks don't actually tell you where one goes, at least not in this OVA. So we do not know who and where, and we do not know what the old man said to the bartender because it's specifically left up to our own imagination.
And we will never find out.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, we never get the old man's inner thoughts.
No.
We don't hear that.
We are left to wonder.
That was the OVA. Like, this one's quite of nice as a short film. It works. It just works.
Yep.
Problem is when they did turn it into a series, and the series is good, but it doesn't quite work as well. But yeah, I have a little part for that at the end, where I go a bit more in depth why it doesn't work. So, the first 2 episodes of the anime TV series are about a couple on their honeymoon. They're newlyweds. I've titled this A Doomed Marriage. We start, of course, with the standard question. Do you remember how you got here? No. And yeah, standard procedure. Play a game, your lives are at stake, show them the puppets that look like hanged corpses. Same rules as Death Billiards, except for the rule about having 1 hour to decide whether to play the game. So 5 rules for this one.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, when we started watching that first episode, I was wondering where our assistant girl was, and I already missed her.
Because she's not announcing the rules.
Yes.
Yeah, at this point she's watching from behind the scenes, as episode 2 tells us.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one we got a man with a temper, a husband, and the wife is more timid. Bit kind of cliche, actually. Anyway, so, darts.
I played darts a lot on the DS.
That doesn't count.
I have also played it multiple times in real life, and that does count.
Yes, that does count, indeed.
And most people aim for the bullseye, but that doesn't even give you the most points. So why are they doing that? The most points is the triple 20.
Well, but I suppose it's bullseye. It has a reputation or something.
Uh-huh. Sure.
I'm bad at darts. Oh, I was bad at darts last time I played, and that was over a decade ago. So I don't know how I would do these days.
Well, I don't know how I would do these days either, and I'm also not good. But my brother is good. He has his own darts thingy, and his own sets, so that he can like play as a hobby. Well,
practice makes perfect.
Mm.
I think I would be better these days than I was, when I last played it ages ago. This is also a special edition of darts with realistic-looking organs, not as cute as the billiards organs.
Mm.
And hitting one hurts their partner.
Yeah, linked
Which
to
we're quite upfront about this.
Yes, we're very upfront about this. It's linked to the nerves. So people with a high pain tolerance would have an advantage.
So, me?
Yes, you.
Also, Kim is so ominous. Oh, sorry, we still don't know his name. The bartender is so ominous.
Yes, the bartender is kind of amazing. It's like so unemotional. It's amazing.
Unemotional, if only.
At this point in time.
Yeah. Also, yes, my dear players, you can just miss, but then your wife will win, dear husband.
Yeah. But you know, I can't always accurately miss, so you can't expect this of these two people in this very pressured situation, you know.
Do they have to hit the board? Like if you just don't throw with all your strength and the dart just falls to the floor, does that count? Or do they have to hit the board? Because like if you don't have to hit the board, then missing is kind of easy.
Yeah, I don't
just
know
throw it to the side.
I don't know if they thought about that. It's like maybe they'll like try to do it in secret and not be obvious about it, or not too obvious. So they tried.
No, they were pretty.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
The bartender specifically told them that is an option. They actually didn't think of it themselves. The bartender told them that it was an option.
Then I have no explanation whatsoever why they didn't just make a kiddie throw.
Well, yeah, like I said, I don't remember whether it was specified that they have to hit the board, but bartender says, yeah, you can just miss. But the husband does hit on purpose then, and I'm like, ooh, blood.
Yeah. He hurt her intentionally. You know, she didn't hurt you intentionally, so why are you angry at her for accidentally hitting you?
Nope, that happened after. He hit her first. He did do that intentionally because he remembered something.
No,
and she only did that one time.
It was the other way around.
No. He hits her on purpose, and then because of the pain, she accidentally hits him, and that makes him go crazy.
Yeah.
Because his eyes.
Yeah, but still, it's like he hurt her intentionally, and then because of the pain he caused her, she accidentally hurt him. And so, so I don't understand why he is angry at her for because he is the reason that she accidentally hit the target and hurt him. So technically he hurt himself, in my opinion.
Ah, I see. Yes, well, yes.
So why are you angry when you are the reason Be angry at yourself, darling.
Yeah. Also the bartender just in the background calmly picking up the shots.
Yeah.
So then the wife is like, apparently she's pregnant, which at first sounds like an excuse, but no, it's not. He also conveniently remembers that she was behaving oddly in recent days.
So the child was conceived before the wedding. How scandalous.
Is that still a thing?
No, it's not. It's not anymore. At least not where we live. And a lot of people have children nowadays without ever getting married, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. I don't know why you would willingly want a child, but whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, why do you need marriage for humans? Humans are weird. Also, was that last hit on purpose? Like, he regained another memory just as he threw the last dart, so it's a bit hard to tell whether that was hitting her on purpose.
Yeah, hard to tell.
Gossip is so reliable. You're like, yeah, your wife's having an affair. A handsome doctor and her main man is handsome too, so yeah, definitely your wife having an affair. Gossip.
Gossip is never reliable.
But yeah, there's always a loophole in the rules of these games. Like, not only that you are allowed to miss, but you can also use the other person's darts.
Yeah, you can do that as well. You just have to find the loophole.
The question is like the story about Machi being a friend of the wife true? Is the pregnancy true? The wife too regains memories on the last throw, so like, yeah, the pregnancy was definitely true.
Yeah.
The Machi story, we will never know whether she was talking about someone else. Also, car crash. Like, yeah, you're both dead.
Whoopsie.
Also, this entire scene is so typical. Like the jealousy, not communicating, the car crash. It's cliche.
Yeah, that's very cliche indeed.
Oh, and there it is. The bartender is like, yeah, I'm your arbiter. The word.
You get
It will get mentioned so often.
Yes.
Alright, so an arbiter is a judge, but outside the legal law system thingy that you humans have. Jurisdiction, court, whatever. So arbiters settle disputes, conflicts and such between parties and have the absolute authority over the final decision.
Ooh, absolute authority.
Yeah, like I said, they're like judges, but they're not part of the legal system. Yeah, so at this point, the husband has a mental breakdown because he's desperate, and then she takes the fall. So, like, yeah, I had an affair, hysterical laughter, all of the money, etc., etc. And she does it so that he wouldn't torment himself over killing the baby. Though we don't know that at this point that this is the reason why she does that. And we learned that in episode 2. Miss Barmaid tells us in episode 2 that she thinks the baby truly was her husband's, and that she only slept with another man once. And then she was lying to lessen the burden for her husband. Like, yeah, complexity of humans. Which our bartender, later we learned that his name's Dick, doesn't get. He's so clueless. And I'm like, honestly, same. Humans are confusing.
Yes, humans can be very confusing at times. Wait, no, not at times, all the time. And seeing her husband so in pain and denial, so that she then chooses to lie in order to make it easier for him, it's like, I can see someone making that decision.
For love, I suppose.
Yes.
Whatever that means.
Something also, the anime will never understand.
This anime also really doesn't shy away from making people ugly criers. Everyone is an ugly crier. And that is so true.
Yeah, everyone is an ugly crier, but some are uglier than others.
So, yeah, at the end of episode 1, the husband gets a nice mark, and the wife gets the Oni mask. Demon mask.
The demon one.
Also, apparently, heaven or hell is easier to understand than reincarnation or void, which, whatever. I don't think so, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
The reincarnation or void thing is something we see in quite a few religions, such as Buddhism and Hinduism, but also Christianity and several others. I've already touched on Buddhism in our Kung Fu Panda episode. Shall I repeat myself or move on?
Why don't you repeat yourself in case someone hasn't watched the episode, and if they haven't, go watch the episode. It's good.
There's a timestamp for the Buddhism. So in Buddhism, karma influences rebirth, meaning that a person's actions in one life will impact their future lives. Which is exactly what we see in F8. Life is a cycle of suffering and rebirth, which can only be escaped by reaching nirvana, or enlightenment. And one should be kind and good without expecting anything in return and free themselves of attachments. So yeah, the reincarnation is just like, yeah, good karma, comes a good next life and stuff. And then if you want to escape that, you need to reach enlightenment, which doesn't quite fit in here because they don't ever talk about that. It's only reincarnation or void, but anyway. Yeah, we learned post-ending that the husband was indeed sent to reincarnation and the wife to the void.
Oh no, Icky misjudged.
To which I ask, why is reincarnation better than the void? Like, you won't remember anyway, and all souls eventually end up in the void, and it seems more like punishment to me, having to go back and suffer through another lifetime.
Well, but there's not only suffering in life, there's also happiness and the like, so they get to experience happiness in you, and if they accumulated a lot of good karma, then they maybe get more happiness or are just luckier in life. So there's that. And I think it's also just the thought of like the void. It ends all. It's like death. Some people fear death and that it's all going to end suddenly. I think that's also a reason why some people would be like, yeah, I would want to go into reincarnation because they just don't like the thought of it just ending.
Well, one, I still wouldn't want to be reincarnated and live another human. Living as a human is annoying. It's horrible. I hate it. No,
Well,
I would never want that.
Well, you're also not a human.
It's just, no. I'd take the void over that anytime. And also, like, yeah, the second part about why people wouldn't want to go, I don't understand that. I don't understand it.
Well, I don't fully understand it myself, but I know that it's a thing. It's a thing.
I suppose.
Yeah. But you know, if people who died at the same time get sent there, then how do they deal with the increase in human population? Because more people die at the same time.
I mean, well, like they go by the exact millisecond. Like if you die at the exact millisecond, then you get so sent together there. Or, that actually makes the couple a bit unrealistic. They might have died in the same car crash, but what are the chances they died at the exact same millisecond even?
Slim.
Like if the car was slightly tilted and or they experienced the impact differently. And there's so many other factors. I mean, it also makes sense for whatever department sends the soul to the bars to specifically choose the pairs for maximum stress situations. Like, maybe you didn't die at the exact same time, but in the general same time period, like within a minute or 5 minutes or something. And then they are like, okay, we've got like 10 people here, or 20 or hundreds, whatever. Let's choose specific pairs for maximum stress situations.
Could
like
be.
episode 4 of the TV series with the woman and with the TV woman and the press kid. There's a good example. Like they were specifically chosen, I think, because of course they would crash so horribly to create such a stressful situation, which is exactly what the games are for. So it would make sense that that there's a department that just puts the pairs together.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Same for the murder episode, because we know they didn't die at the same time. Not exactly same. Actually, yeah, no, we will get back to that. In the murder episode. Right, so yeah, episode 2 goes more into the backstory, like Death Reverse it is called, and it's literally a retrospective on episode 1. The barmaid who has no name is now finally here to stay. Ooh, and she has her own theme song. It's beautiful. We learn that Dekim, with his bar Quinn Dekim, is on the 15th floor, which fits because Quinn Dekim is literally the Latin for 15. We also later learn about other bars, like there's Viginti, which literally means 20, and Nona Ginta is 90, and Nona's residence is called Nona Ginta, and that's on the 19th floor, and so on.
That's a lot of floors.
Yeah, this is the point where we finally get to know Dekim's name. Nona's we learn a bit later, but I took notice. Nona and Dekim. So there's, in Roman mythology, I don't know whether it's Parse or Parke, I forgot. They're called Nona, Dekima, and Morta, and they're the physical personifications of destiny. The equivalent of the Greek Moire, or Fates. The Fates. So we have Nona, who spins the thread of life, which represents birth. Her name means 9th, and she comes to pregnant women on their 9th month of pregnancy. Then Dekima measures the thread of life, so lifespan and the amount of suffering, and Morta severs the thread, determining how someone dies, which, very fitting name in this case.
Yes.
Morta, yeah. Which I found a bit interesting. Of course, we never get this, well, we don't know what Nona's job is actually. And yeah, Dekim doesn't measure the lifespan or anything, but I found it a little bit interesting, so I put it here.
Yeah, I was wondering about Nona's job, but we never got to know what it actually is.
Indeed. So Nona explains how the place works, memories and such, and we get to see the puppet room. Also, marionettes they are such an obvious metaphor that I don't even want to get into it, so I'm not going to. It's just, this one is so obvious. Anyway, yeah. Also, fear, the most primitive human emotion, makes me think fondly of the Magnus archives.
Yes. It also made me think of the Magnus Archives. Like, yeah, fear is the most basic emotion, the most primal one. And so of course...
Primal? Is it primal or primal?
No clue, you are asking the wrong person for that. But,
right.
Yeah. So, of course, there are entities born from it because it's the most basic emotion.
Dread entities.
Yes, dread entities. And entities.
Yeah, we need to use correct words.
No, we don't.
We do. Otherwise, no one will understand what we're saying.
Do new souls come into existence? Because some perish in the void. Like half of the people. Oh, well, we don't know if always one gets
no,
sent.
Not half. No.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, for the world building to work, there must be new souls coming to be somehow. But the world building of this anime is honestly, it's wonky and full of holes and not quite. Yeah, moving on. You know, Nona is someone I can relate to. Like, human emotions are fascinating and I don't understand them. Nona is also cool. She's like going from nice to deadly in a second and then back to nice. I love her. She's cool.
And that you relate to Nona doesn't come as a surprise to me.
Yeah, she also tells Dikim, like, everyone makes mistakes and, like, don't brush their human feelings off. Yeah. Well, she says don't brush their feelings off and she means humans. So, Nona also gives us a third perspective on the couple we just judged on their situation. Like, they couldn't have been happy because the husband was so distrustful and did not communicate with his wife, choosing instead to believe gossip, so...
Yeah.
But she doesn't tell that to Dikim and the barmaid. She just thinks that to herself. Moving on, episode 3 is kind of an intermission episode. We get some childhood friends. It's very calm and not really sure why it's there. It doesn't really contribute much to the plot anyway. Like, we open with a scene from childhood friends, and then 2 young people arrive at Queen Dikim. Like, the young man, and he blushes because he sees a cute girl, and the cute girl apparently can't remember anything at all, and yeah. Also, Miss Barmaid finally gets to announce the rules. I'm sure you appreciated that.
Yes, I very much appreciated that.
Yeah, the usual. You play with your life on the line, you can't leave before it's over. Nothing says you will die if you lose. Very important. We get bowling this time.
Yeah, and who hasn't played that one before, you know? I have played it multiple times, but I'm not good at it. I'm average, I would say.
I'm bad at it. Never tried to become good at it. But those balls sure make for nice weapons. Like, they're freaking heavy.
Oh yeah.
Also, how do you expect me to score points when I can't barely lift these things? Like, of course I would be bad at it. These things are freaking heavy.
Yes, they're quite heavy.
Yeah, these ones have sketchy organs, not realistic ones, like episode 1. Also, Dikim specifically tells them you will not actually feel any pain. Still, putting your hand in another person's heart/organ is kind of weird.
Yeah, it kind of is.
It also not, I mean, okay, at one point, one of them was like, oh, the other one's heart is beating really fast. I wonder why, but it didn't really lead to conflict or... Yeah, there was no conflict in this one, not really.
Yeah, and I was, anyway. Because you remembered something, that's why.
I suppose these 2 people are portrayed to be quite adorable together. Like 2 young people on a date. Not that I can relate. Humans. Yeah, so he first starts remembering a childhood friend. The barmaid also comments on the friendly atmosphere, and it's like they aren't as desperate about the play with your life on the line thing as the previous pair, nor the OVA pair. Also something else, side note. The first 2 pairs of the series actually know each other.
Oh yeah, they do.
It's like, yeah. Interesting, not so coincidental coincidence.
Yeah, there are no coincidences. You know that.
Also, considering that they weren't the only 2 people on the bus. Like, yeah, they were specifically paired together. They must have been, because like there were so many people on the bus that also died at the same time.
Yeah. I suppose all the other occupants of the bus went to some other arbiter, to some other boy.
And Nona explained previously that the arbiters don't have control over which memories return, which is important for this one. Because the girl remembers the childhood scene that we saw at the beginning. And this one's kind of interesting, because like, does she at that point already know, or did she genuinely think she was Chisato? Like the other childhood one? Because her POV would have been looking at Chisato and not being Chisato after all.
Like, yes, exactly. Like, if you are the person you claim to be, then why was the flashback not from Chisato's perspective, but from Mai's? It's like, that's wrong person. Wrong person.
According to Dekim, she truly didn't know.
So, just outsider's POV for no apparent reason whatsoever.
So it leads up to like that we think he doesn't know and will be shocked by the revelation, but he did know. He remembers his friends telling him about the girl working at the bowling place. Bowling? Words. Like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, that his friends told him about the plastic surgery and stuff, and he remembers her death, of course, and it's like, yeah, and then she also remembers, like, yes, you met Jen, you're dead. But he still wants a date, despite knowing, like, wow, a kind human being.
Yeah, those exist.
I guess we need to get the wholesomeness in before the murdering starts. We also get some dating scenes during the ending song.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yes, this is so wholesome. He wants to go on a date with her regardless of everything. But going through surgery just to get a guy? If you want to change your physical appearance, do it for yourself and not for someone else.
There were some points I've been wondering about regarding the surgery. Like, did Mai see the grown-up Chisato? Or did she base her looks of the child Chisato's appearance? Or like neither? That it's just implied that she just did a surgery and it had nothing to do with the other one, with Chisato?
I thought someone said that she didn't see, but I don't...
Yeah, I get to that. It's also considering that Chisato moved away and Shigeru likely never saw her again, it doesn't even matter whether she looks like Chisato or not.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. Not even Dekim, like, he confirms he doesn't know whether Mai looks like Chisato or not, so it's perfectly possible that she did not intentionally assume Chisato's identity, and that it was all a coincidence.
Could be.
Like, she didn't do it on purpose. I mean, obviously we know that the first memory was for some reason misinterpreted, and then later, and anyway. I mean, it's also, I think, up to interpretation whether she underwent the surgery specifically to be together with Shigeru, or if she did it just for herself to start a new chapter in her life.
I mean, I got the feeling that she did it for him, so that he would like look at her, and like obviously she wanted him to look at her in a romantic way. It seems, and that's just how I interpreted it. So if any of our viewers have watched this series and has any comments about that, then feel free to tell us. How did you interpret it?
Yeah, I think it's heavily implied, and like you can interpret it that way, but it's not confirmed, so it could also not be.
Yeah.
Presumably, both went to reincarnation because both got the nice mask.
Yes, good decision. I agree.
Next one is a bit more heavy again. I've called it Facets of Depression, which is a misnomer because we're not going to discuss depression. We already did that in our second episode for 13 Reasons Why. But it is essentially what this episode is about. Both the TV show woman and the young man suffered from depression, but in very distinct ways. We got a pair that doesn't know each other. She's a famous TV person thingy, and he's a shut-in. So the woman initially assumes that this is a hidden camera situation, and I mean, so she like talks to the young man and is like, so yeah, you have to make me look good. She also shamelessly uses her womanly wiles to make it to bring her point across.
You mean boobs? Boobs. Yeah, she really put emphasis on her boobs. I suppose that has so far helped her in her career.
Maybe.
Maybe, who knows?
We get an arcade game on this one. I never played a true arcade game. I mean, console mini games like the Danganronpa Casino don't count, so never played one. Nope.
Yeah, no, never played one either. I've never been to like arcade. Are there even proper arcades in the vicinity of our flat?
On our part of the city, not that I'm aware of. Maybe on the other side of the river.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, Yosuke versus Misaki. Ready? Fight!
You know, I might not have played arcade games, but I've played these kinds of fighting games before.
I
like
didn't.
For Wii and for Switch. I don't actually particularly like them. So like, don't ask me why I played them. I don't actually like them. It's fine if the game also has other features, but yeah.
Wait. I remember something. Didn't we play one of those on the Wii together
Naruto
once? Yeah.
Yes,
Naruto.
I made you play the Naruto game with me, and it's like, yeah, I don't like these fighting games, but I still played them.
One of the few characters I actually know, Tsunade.
Tsunade is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so I might not like them, but it doesn't keep me from playing Naruto games. Not that I'm particularly good at them, but yeah. Maybe one day, if I ever get around to actually streaming, I might play Naruto on stream. No one would watch that, though, would they? No one cares about Naruto anymore. Back to our main characters for this episode. We got someone with a troubled childhood. Also, your stepmom loves you, buddy. Please don't kill yourself. And a woman with, like, very hard time as a mother and an abusive relationship and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we learn about the tragic lives of these two people. Again, we won't discuss the particulars here. And eventually, this whole game situation and Deki manipulating the game leads to... Did I write? Okay,
yes,
I called her
did.
Mrs. Boobs. Mrs. Boobs attacks Yosuke out of desperation. The desperation that Dekim created, and then she immediately regrets it. Side note, Dekim always looks so genuinely stunned, and I'm like, same buddy, but also, you did this. Why do you look so stunned?
Yeah, but
honestly.
We love him for it, don't we?
Yeah. And, I wrote in my notes, and I quote, Neitshayd and Cecilia get into a heated debate about people coming to the conclusion that they die if they lose, which is not in the rules. So, you come to this bar. You have no memories of how you got there. Then this weird person tells you can't leave unless you play a game and that you play with your life on stake. And then they show you what looks like hanged corpses at first glance. So, yeah, that's the situation. Nowhere in the rules, nowhere in whatever the game otherwise says, nowhere does it tell you that you have to win in order to live, nor does it tell you that you will die if you lose. And in Deaf Billiards, when the old man asks specifically about that, the game is like, I can't tell you what happens if you win or lose. So I, in that situation, would interpret the whole thing as like, you'll die if you don't play the game. And come nowhere near the conclusion that I'll die if I don't win, nor lose any other benefits if I lose the game. Which takes the desperation out of it entirely. Not to mention that I'm not scared of death.
You're already dead, though, so why would you be scared of death?
Yeah, that too. So, now, tell me, Cecilia, why do these people get so desperate?
Well, they get told that they have to play this game with their life on the line. And it's like, yeah, you have to play this game and you can't leave until you have played this game. So it's like, okay, you're stuck there in this place where you don't know how you got there. You don't know, well, where you are. You can't expect help to arrive because why nobody knows where you are. So why would there be help? So it's like, okay, if you don't play the game and there are also like dead bodies hanging in the back, so people have died here before. So if we don't play this game, we will probably both die.
Yeah, I get that point. That so far I can agree with you, but like,
okay.
why would they come to the conclusion that they'll die if they lose? Why?
It's like it's a game with your life on the line. It's like one is going
because if you don't play it, you'll die.
Yeah, but still, the game has your life on the line. So the winner will get to live and the loser will die because your life is on the line.
No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that in any way. And DKIM doesn't say that. No one says that.
Yes, no one says that, but that's the conclusion that they come to because what else would there be? Like, why would otherwise be your life on the line in this game you play?
Yeah, because if you don't play, you would die, which of course isn't true, but like,
yes,
you have to play, otherwise you'll die. It doesn't mean you'll die if you lose. It's just a game. For some reason, this person wants you to play a game.
But if you tell me, yes, you will play this game with your life on the line, it's like, I wouldn't interpret it like in the first moment, like, okay, if I don't play this game, I die. And if I just play the game, we can both live. But if you tell me that, yes, you have to play a game with your life on the line, now I'm like, oh shit, I have to win this, otherwise I will die.
I don't get that.
For me, that's just normal. It's like, yes, that is the conclusion I would come to. It's like, yeah.
No.
I mean, what other options are there for these human beings?
He's like, from the human perspective, this is like a sick person that wants us to play a game, and if we don't play the game, he'll kill us.
Like, yeah, this is a sick person, like probably
but why would he kill me if I lose?
Like, yes,
he doesn't say that.
He
has can't answer the question.
He has crazy fantasies and wants people to play games, and then he will murder the loser.
No, he doesn't say that. He can't even answer the question what will happen if you win or lose. So, like, no. Yeah. If you can't answer the question, that's fishy.
Yes,
something is fishy about that.
It could also just be if you can't answer the question what will happen if you lose. I mean, yes, it could be that none of you will die, but it could also be that he just doesn't want to tell you how he's going to kill you.
I disagree.
And I don't get why you disagree.
Because, like, no, in no way, just think about the rules. It's like, yeah, you won't die if you lose. He doesn't say that, and it's not going to happen.
I mean, yes, there are alternative interpretations, and you can come to different conclusions, but like this reincarnation and void, and you don't necessarily, he doesn't tell you that the loser will die. I mean, yes, he doesn't say that at any point, but he also doesn't say that like it won't happen. And so what would you think first if it's like, yeah, I wouldn't, they obviously can't think rationally in that situation. And if you can't think rationally, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, maybe, yes, I'm maybe already dead and it's about reincarnation and the void and oh yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. But my first thought would be like, okay, he wants me to play a game, and if I don't play the game, he'll kill me. And that's it. No more than that and no less than that.
And my first thought is, okay, he tells me I have to play a game with my life on the line. If I lose, I might die. And just the possibility that, or just the thought that it is a possibility is just scary enough for most people. So
I don't get it.
It's like the mind is like, okay, yeah, this is a possibility. Very like one of the ones that is like has a higher probability than like other possibilities, and it's a scary thought. So they don't think really further and about other possibilities. They're just like, oh shit, this could happen, and then they're maybe hyper fixated on that possibility alone.
Weird.
Humans are weird. You know that.
Yeah, and you're human, so you're weird.
I guess so. Yes, I'm weird. And well, from my perspective, you as an undead demon, you are weird. So we can.
I'm perfectly normal. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm perfectly normal. Thank you very much. So can we agree to disagree?
No. Moving on. So this entire scene with what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the TV show woman who was like, yeah, she had an abusive husband. I think she had several abusive husbands. and her kids and the stuff and whatever. And then we got the young boy who like was super depressed, and his first mom, his biological mom, was shit, and his second mom just wanted to be good, but whatever. And then yeah, he killed himself, so he couldn't call her mom. I think this is supposed to be sad. I'm not sad, but we do get another hug, a double hug. So I guess DK gives good hugs.
DK must give the best of hugs.
Did you think this was sad?
A bit, yes. I did think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was right. It's supposed to be sad.
Yes, it is supposed to be sad. You're right about that. So even though you don't get it, you at least sometimes understand what their intentions are.
I can come to logical conclusions, you know.
Yes, I never doubted that.
I present you my points, and that is the conclusion I came to. So.
Yeah. So she can go into reincarnation, I think. Like she even wants to go back to her children and do better, and he regrets his suicide, so I suppose he can go into reincarnation too. Like, yeah, why not? They're not really bad people. It's just life was hard on them. Life was hard. So I would have judged differently for Misaki.
Yes, you would have sent her to reincarnation instead to the void.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. At this point, I think I was like, okay, I think this anime wants you to sympathize with everyone of the. Yes. No, actually, yeah, everyone.
Yes.
Even the barmaid and the bartender. So that you want to have everyone reincarnate, and you think some decisions are unfair, at least with the guests up until this point, because we later get guests that are more complicated.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this they want you to do really sympathize with every character, and so far I think they are doing a good job. And like here you can see the difference between Neitshayd and a demon with no emotions and a Hufflepuff.
What can you expect, you know? Also, the old man from the OVA is still sus.
Oh yes, he very much is.
So can't empathize? Can't feel sympathy for him? Words. Emotions.
Complicated.
Alright, this is Editing Neitshayd. This episode turned out to be a little bit longer than expected, so I decided to cut it here. You can find us on Twitter, Spotify, and obviously on YouTube at Tea and Toffees. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We will be back in a few weeks for part 2 of our Death Parade discussion. See you then. Bye.